Okay, hey everybody, welcome to another episode of On the Wrist from Off the Cuff. Today we have another awesome update for you from the brand PhenomeNATO. Now, if you guys might recall, I've actually done some premium NATO brand shootouts and whatnot, and PhenomeNATO is definitely one of those ones that stands close to the top there, kind of my top three fabric straps that I prefer. So the thing that I really think is special about PhenomeNATO is that although they haven't reinvented the wheel by any means like some of the more innovative brands out there, I think what they've really done is help to refine and kind of perfect that original NATO design. So they're definitely staying tried and true to that original setup, but at the same time they've just refined it and kind of made it the best that it could be, right? They haven't tried to change it too much or make it single pass or you know, really do anything too crazy or exciting with the hardware. But one of the nice things that I've seen from their latest release, which is what we're going to focus on here, is that they've pretty much, you know, the one kind of, I guess, quote unquote flaw that I saw in kind of what they had, which was their buckle hardware, which from a design standpoint was absolutely fantastic because it's not held in by any type of spring bar or anything like that, so it actually is still super secure, super strong on the wrist. It was just kind of weak in comparison, I'd say, to the rest of the offering because the nylon is just so fantastic, very thin, tightly woven, but still has a nice soft feel to it. And then you kind of combine that with you know, the beautiful color options that are there. We actually have a blue model here that we haven't been able to show on the channel. They've expanded their line. I think they have green and a tan now as well. I think they even do have a brighter blue, but this dark navy blue I think is absolutely fantastic, super versatile. Then here also, of course, you have the Bond style strap there, all in brushed finish. They do offer polished as well. I prefer brushed generally if it's available, just because I think it's just a little bit more versatile with many of the watches that I think go well on NATOs. And of course, we do have the Stowa Flieger Classic 40 unbranded here as a real strap monster, and especially useful when changing out for NATOs. So with that said, let's go ahead and take a closer look. Okay, well, before we take a look at the new, let's look at the tried and true, the old. So here, as you can see, really beautiful. This is the previous generation. Great. I mean, the stitching, the weave on this, nice and thin, super strong though still. I mean, just beautifully, just feels super nice and soft, especially once broken in a little bit on the wrist. This is really nice. And as you can see, this is actually sewn in. This is a solid piece. It's not being held in by a spring bar, so there's really no point of failure here this is going to be susceptible to. And then of course this is, you know, although aesthetically, you know, it definitely does the job, I think, as far as, you know, it's just not as awe-inspiring as the rest of this beautiful hardware. Of course, nice and squared off, professionally done. You do have the floating keeper, which is a really nice innovation many other brands have caught on to. And then of course the materials here in this nylon is just absolutely fantastic. So now comparing this, oh, let it focus there, sorry about that guys, to this, now you can see there's quite a difference. Look at that. It's just everything that this thing needed, and again, not held in by a spring bar. As you can see, everything is nicely welded there. So there's no point of failure available there, which is really nice. So for those of you that are real purists on NATO straps, that's something that, you know, a lot of people will complain about from time to time about some of the newer high-end straps, is that, you know, the whole point of a NATO is to save your watch, right? And make spring bars not the point of failure to where the watch will fall off your wrist, because if your spring bar fails, then you'll still have the other one, it'll be hanging on there. But if your spring bar can fail here, then basically you could lose the entire strap and watch all at once. So that's kind of the narrative of some of the real purists there. So that's something that I think will definitely appeal to you guys. Those of you that do take your NATO straps very seriously, this is just a serious piece of kit there. Very Very impressive. Well, if we can get it to focus. And I think that logo laser etched in there just looks fantastic. And really, they have a brand that they should be proud of, because they have made quite a name for themselves. And I believe, yep, here we go. You can even see they do have the great tag there as well. Just super finely done. Made in Europe. Really nice. And then you have this great blue, which is a nice deep dark blue that you really don't see too much of. So really gorgeous. Of course, when you have those really dark deep blue dials, always nice. Or let's say in this case you have a watch that has just a pop of blue with the thermally blued hands. Now you're gonna have something that's not overpowering but is still gonna tie in. So let's go ahead and demo. As you can see, the tag there, very nice, here on camera. So we just slide it in and then slide it through here. Super smooth deployment there, right in, right out. And then really what I like to do is, some people, you know, of course you're taking a picture, you think that you'd kind of want these centered, but what I try to do is figure out how they'll be on the wrist to make sure that they're centered. And as you can see, when you fold it down there, you can see that they actually are lining up pretty well, actually, as far as what they would be on the wrist. I would almost say to scoot it up just a hair to make it a little bit more even. So now I take that. Oh, maybe a little bit too far gone. Scoot it back just a hair. Boom. So that's something where if, you know, you've ever been on Instagram and wondered why people take their shots with this uneven, where basically the keeper, you know, the watch isn't centered on there, it's because when you have the watch on wrist, where you're going to want it centered is right here. You're going to want the hardware to be centered so that when you look at it, you don't have one buckle up here, then another one down there hidden. So, really nice. I think it really plays well here. Again, with just the touch of blue, this piece is just so deep and dark, this blue here, that it's, oh man, it's just super versatile. From far away, it's going to really look like kind of a more midnight blue color. So of course under the studio lights it's probably looking a bit brighter, but this thing is just, it almost looks like a black strap that was left out in the sun, that's starting to pick up some hints of blue. That's just how deep it is there. And then a little demo on the wrist. If you've ever had a, you know, question about how to put on a NATO strap, here you go. I'll try to make sure that everything's visible there. Let's see here, and that's, I like to have a little bit of give there, not too much. Loop that through, loop that through. Then of course, here's your sliding keeper. So what you're gonna do is feed this back, keeping everything nice and flat. Okay, and then you can slide the keeper to stay right on top. So again, really nice there. And really one of the things I enjoy about the traditional NATO strap is that it you know, you can add some dimension. So if you have a smaller watch, this watch is 40 millimeters, so I wouldn't call it small by any means, but let's say you did have a smaller watch, maybe in that 38 range, or even smaller, 37. What this does is it really will elongate the watch for you and make it feel a little bit more substantial on the wrist. In this case, I think it just balances really well. As you can see, great wrist presence, and then everything tucks away nicely because we do have the full 12-inch length, which is really key, especially if you have a larger wrist. I have a 7¼ inch wrist, so for me, getting that full 12-inch length on the strap really is what's going to enable me to be able to fold everything back. Then you got the adjustable keeper and still have like a nice little you know, fold right there that's going to stay out of the way. That's not going to be something you're going to have to, you know, try to maneuver or work hard on to kind of keep everything in place. Everything is just going to slide in and stay where it needs to be, which is really nice. Now, to take a look at the Bond strap here, also super versatile. I mean, this can go on divers, this can go on kind of everyday watches. You do have the sliding keeper there. Again, really, it's just, as far as points of failure, imagine if you even had like a watch that had fixed spring bars, or maybe even drilled lugs, and then you know, the fixed spring bars inside. It's just really going to give you a bulletproof setup here. I think it's still extremely strong, tight, and just really elegant. So I really like that they kind of really, I'd say, distilled the whole NATO military strap here. They didn't necessarily reinvent it like some of the other brands that we've enjoyed on the channel. But if you're just a purist and you just like NATO straps and you just kind of want like the best pure NATO strap that's out there, then this is something I think you should definitely take a look at. Of course, this case is nice and thin, so it's a real strap monster. And then even with the quality of this nylon, it's not super thick, so you're only going to have that much of a little bit of a lift on your wrist there. So the watch, of course, it helps when you have something with these turn down lugs that's quite thin. It's not going to add very much height to it, but I mean, if you wear these types of straps, you kind of already know, you know, a bit of the compromise you're going to get. It's going to add some thickness, especially with the traditional double pass. But the nice thing is, because it's such a thin strap there, it's really minimal, and it's just nothing to complain about. This is nothing that's going to be lifting it off your wrist, even if you have a big hefty diaper. This is probably, if anything, going to make the watch more comfortable, because it's going to give you that little bit of extra clearance so that you can bend your wrist a little bit easier, because you do have that little bit of extra space versus it laying directly flat on your wrist. So really impressed with this. I mean, really, it's just an upgrade of the buckle there, and of course some new color options that are now available. But as you can see, this right here was something that was truly special, even at the price point then. And I still think these classic ones, you know, I'm not just going to take these out of rotation because there's this newer buckle involved. But this newer buckle here, to me, takes it to that next level. Very reminiscent of, let's say, something you'd find on a factory Omega nylon strap, NATO style. So really gorgeous there. Loving the hints of blue, how everything ties in. This definitely is something just super versatile. If you do like nylon straps, I really highly suggest you check out PhenomeNATO. Unfortunately, they do not have US distributors or anything like that, at least from recording this video. So when you do order, it does take some time. So it's one of those things you kind of have to just purchase and then kind of forget about it for a while, and then eventually they'll come. But if you do enjoy these, you're going to find yourself ordering more and more, and then probably one in each color, each variant, and they're just great. And I think they're not super pricey. I would say they're like $40. And then, you know, when you can combine shipping, if you buy a good set of them, I can pretty much guarantee you know, there's no need to just order one to see how you're going to like it. If you like the way these are aesthetically, you're going to love the execution. So I would say just, you know, if you like different color combinations, you like different finishes, different widths and whatnot, the 20 or 22 millimeter widths, they have it for you there. So really nice, kind of a short one today, guys, but just impressed, and I really thought that these did deserve kind of an update video, because these are just phenomenal, pun intended. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. If you like the video, please do hit like. If you haven't already, please do subscribe for more content just like this. Thanks, guys.